Hello and welcome to the InNews series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be discussing about the topic that the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, has been arrested by the CBI, that is the Central Bureau of Investigation. So Arvind Kejriwal, who is already in arrest with the ED, that is the Enforcement Directorate. So as of now, what has happened is that the CM of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, who is already in custody of the Enforcement Directorate and was in the Tihar jail, has now been arrested by the CBI. So this is the case, and what we will be knowing in particular is why the CBI has arrested the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, and what is the difference between the EDs, that is the Enforcement Directorate arrest, and the CBI arrest. So let us first understand the timeline. First we will be looking at the news, then what is the difference between ED and CBI case, why is Kejriwal arrested, bail in corruption case, and in the end prelims practice MCQ. Topic is of relevance from General Studies Paper 2 and Paper 3. Paper 2 is with regard to PMLA Act and the Prevention of Corruption Act, and in Paper 3 with regard to money laundering. So let's begin. The news talks about why has CBI, that is the Central Bureau of Investigation, and it was formed by the recommendation of which committee? It was the Santhanam Committee. So why has CBI arrested Kejriwal and how is its case different from the EDs? So Arvind Kejriwal, even though he is with the custody of the police, but he still is the Chief Minister of Delhi. So what has happened recently is that ahead of the Supreme Court hearing on granting bail to Delhi CM Kejriwal, that is recently what is being happened was that the Supreme Court was about to hear the granting bail of Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal. So before the Supreme Court hearing, the Delhi court has granted CBI a 3-day custody of the Delhi CM. So even though the CBI was asking for the 5 days custody, but the Delhi court has granted 3-day custody of Kejriwal to the police, and the charges with regard to the ED is money laundering charge linked to the allied excise policy scam. So all this thing, that is the CM of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, going to the police, ED coming and arresting the Delhi CM, and now CBI also arresting the Delhi CM, is with regard to the excise policy scam. So in very brief, what is excise policy scam? So it happened in the year 2021-2022. Excise policy scam is also known as the popular liquor policy of Delhi. So this is with regard to increasing and betterment the circulation of liquor in Delhi. So a liquor policy was formed in the year 2021, but this policy was scrapped in the year 2022, and the reasons given were that there were many irregularities which was observed in the Delhi liquor policy or the excise policy scam, and there were charges of corruption, there were charges of kickbacks, and there were charges of irregularities. So it has been said that the Delhi CM was involved in corruption and in taking kickbacks, and the Delhi Exchequer was not getting enough revenue from the policy. So the policy in the end got scrapped, and with regard to the corruption cases and the kickback being received by the higher officials of the government, so the Delhi CM, that is Arvind Kejriwal, was arrested on the grounds of money laundering in the alleged excise policy scam. So this is the whole scenario, that as of now the arrest which was done with regard to the Delhi CM was by ED, and now the CBI has also arrested. Now what is the difference between ED and CBI arrest? So ED is Enforcement Directorate and CBI is the Central Bureau of Investigation. So what is the difference? That ED has earlier arrested Arvind Kejriwal and now CBI has now arrested. So with regard to the ED case, it was about the money trail. It was about the money trail. It was about the money laundering cases. It was about the financial transactions involved with one to another. So the ED case was about investigation with regard to the money trail, while on the other hand the CBI case is to prove corruption and bribe taking by the public servant. And being the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal was also and is also a public servant. So ED case was with regard to money trail, that is money laundering, and CBI case is with regard to corruption. So this is the difference, that EDI is running or arrested the CM of Delhi on the grounds of money trail, and CBI has arrested on the grounds of corruption. Then ED arrested Kejriwal on money laundering charges, and the money laundering charges was the standalone and was the sole charge that ED put on the Delhi CM. So ED arrested Kejriwal only on one single ground, and that was the money laundering. Then generation of allied tainted funds and its use. So it was only about the money laundering. So I think you understood this difference very clearly, that ED is with regard to money laundering, money trail, CBI is with regard to corruption. And then ED filed charges under the PMLA, that is Prevention of Money Laundering Act, and CBI has filed charges under the Prevention of Corruption Act. This is also one of the difference. See, ED, money laundering and PMLA Act, and CBI is Corruption and Prevention of Corruption Act. These two are the biggest difference between the arrest of ED and arrest by the CBI. And then with regard to section 3 of the PMLA, what it says is that section 3 of PMLA criminalizes money laundering and its list concealment, possession, acquisition, use, projecting as untainted property or claiming as untainted property as crimes. So under the section 3 of the PMLA Act, it talks about that what is considered to be a crime under the PMLA Act. And what is considered crime? So it criminalizes money laundering with regard to concealment, possession, acquisition, use, projection or claiming an untainted property. Then the CBI has registered case of corruption under the Prevention of Corruption Act, that is PC Act. So these are the differences. ED, money laundering, PMLA, CBI is Corruption and Prevention of Corruption Act. And under the Prevention of Corruption Act was also invoked in the year 2022 against the Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal, but in that case the Arvind Kejriwal was not considered an accused. So it is not that in 2024 the CBI has invoked the Prevention of Corruption Act. In 2022 also the CBI invoked the Prevention of Corruption Act, but at that point of time Arvind Kejriwal was not considered accused. Then why is Kejriwal arrested now? So what is the case with regard to it? So CBI always had the option of arresting the Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal in the year 2022 also, but it could not do so because the direct link or the direct evidence with regard to Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal linking the Delhi liquor policy or the Delhi excise scam could not be found. So the direct link could not be found with regard to ED also and with regard to CBI also. So CBI always had the option of arresting Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal, but before arresting they need to gather some plausible evidence, but this plausible evidence was not found. Plausible evidence means fact based evidence, fair evidence, But first CBI needs to gather some plausible evidence linking Kejriwal directly to the alleged scam, and this plausible evidence was not found. Direct link is suspect in the ED case as well. So this line very clearly tells that the direct link with regard to the CBI case and the ED case could not be found, and this was also the reason that why in the 2022 case also Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal was not arrested. Then if we talk about the PMLA Act, then under the PMLA Act, the bar for granting of the bail is very high because the provisions of the PMLA Act is very stringent. But the Prevention of Corruption Act, the provisions are not as stringent as the PMLA Act. So under the PMLA Act, granting of bail is very difficult. Then leading the prosecution effort with the ED case allows for prolonged custody of the accused. Now this happened because under the PMLA Act, the bail is very difficult because of the stringent provisions. So when ED arrested Arvind Kejriwal, it was under the PMLA Act, and getting bail in the PMLA Act is very difficult because of the stringent provisions. So this is the reason that why the custody with the police of Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal is extended. So this is the reason that why Delhi CM Arvind Kejriwal could not come out and the custody with the police is being extended. It is because of the stringent measures for granting of bail under the PMLA Act. Now bail in corruption cases. Now with regard to the bail, what happens with regard to corruption cases? So an accused can move for anticipatory bail in a corruption case. Now anticipatory bail means that before the accused is being arrested, when the accused comes to know that an FIR or a case is being lodged against him or her, then he can in advance go for the anticipatory bail. And then non-bailable offences is subject to judicial discretion. If it is a bailable offence, then anticipatory bail can be issued, but with regard to the non-bailable offence, the judicial discretion comes into the aspect. Then under the Prevention of Corruption Act, it itself does not impose stringent qualifications for bail, but under the PMLA Act, the aspect of bail comes under very stringent provisions. Then the accused moves court for regular bail under the Code of Criminal Procedure. So with regard to the Prevention of Corruption Act, the bail can be granted as the measures or the provisions are not very stringent, and it can ask or move the court for regular bail under the Code of Criminal Procedure. But in 2014 an amendment was done, and this amendment says that the bail can be moved in a court, but the opportunity should also be provided to the public prosecutor to oppose the bail application. So the public prosecutor can oppose the bail application. This has been given in the 2014 amendment. So this was with regard to the bail in corruption cases. What becomes important for you from exam perspective is to know that what is the difference between the ED case and the CBI case. This is what you should know, and also you should know that CBI case or the ED case is under PMLA, CBI case is under Prevention of Corruption Act, ED case is with regard to money laundering, money trail, while CBI case is with regard to corruption charges. And Prevention of Corruption Act, the bail procedure is not as difficult as it is in the PMLA Act, because the PMLA Act, the bail procedure is very stringent and difficult, and because under the PMLA Act the bail procedure is so stringent and difficult, that is why the person who is in the police custody is not able to come out and the custody gets extended. So this is about, and in the end a prelims practice question, and you people need to give me the answer in the comment section. ED, that is the Enforcement Directorate. Enforcement Directorate works under which of the following ministries? That is Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Home, or none of the above. So give me the answer in the comment section, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.